Today with Randy and Orit to look at the implications of a recent Economist article on the omnichannel strategy for grocery.
Well, as we talked about previously, Sammar, we talked a lot about unified commerce. And actually, if you think about the term omnichannel and you translate it into unified commerce, that delivers the concept of the shopper is the most important piece of the puzzle. So regardless of which channel they choose or however you determine what they're doing in your store or online, you got to think of them as an individual that has the opportunity to shop anywhere. And they can shop with you or they can shop somewhere else. And if you treat them with the respect and with the attention that they're demanding, then you've created this unified commerce view of them, and you can drive all of your business, whether it's online, in store, or whatever comes next, because who knows, to chase that shopper, to put the shopper at the center of the universe. That's the definition of unified commerce.
Orit, representing GK as a long-standing SAP partner, how do you see driving unified commerce in a practical way in the grocery industry?
Thanks. So I absolutely agree with Randy, right? So the unified commerce is unified in various ways. So in one way, it's unified around the consumer. In the other way, it's unified in the sense that your store commerce platform is fully integrated to your enterprise platform. So in our case, it's GK and SAP, which are fully integrated to each other, allowing to deliver a unified experience to consumers across all channels. For example, consumers are able to see offers, personalized, targeted offers, coupons, and so on, regardless of the channel and the touch point that they're using in order to interact with the retailer. When they move between channels, for example, moving from an online order into the store for picking, or creating the shopping list and then going into the store and doing their own self-scanning, they will see consistent pricing. They will see the offers that they have received that are able to redeem in that channel and that touch point. And they will have the same level and the same quality of experience regardless of how they're interacting with the retailer. So this is one of the key influences on the consumers by the means using omnichannel POS by GK fully integrated to SAP. Another way that they can achieve that is by providing the same level of experience, the same level of intuitive interaction, regardless of the touch points. So if you think about self-scanning in the store, paying on your own device and leaving, this is very similar to choosing your items online, paying and finalizing your transactions. So a good user experience will allow a seamless journey for the consumer and give them the same, convenience that they have online in their store experience. And to that, we now add smart carts and scanless stores. And this kind of helps retailers really blur the boundaries between the channels, between the touch points, and for the consumer, they experience the retailers as a unified being in any way they interact with the retailer.
Randy, the number of key innovations highlighted there by Orit, how do you see that impacting grocery retail in the next normal?
One of the things that I think is on the list, if not at the top of the list for grocers as they look to develop their omni-channel strategy, if you will, is profitability. Mm-hmm. If you think about the omni-channel experience, it adds costs. Those costs go directly against the margin that grocers would make off the products. They've got to figure out how to do this unified commerce with margin at the end of every transaction, not just some. And so, adding technology is one thing. Culturally, looking at your operations, I would say perishables become a more prominent, more important conversation. You've got to be right on meat, produce, bakery, deli, seafood. They have to be exceptional experiences. You have to invest in those areas to ensure that you're offering the consumer the best possible products you can offer them at the right price. You're going to make that up by, the dry goods. You're going to make that up by offering services like buy online, pick up in store, like home delivery. like subscription services, so I can get into a pattern and take costs out of the way I approach that business process. So it really is getting after this thing, turning it into a digital transaction, and then taking the costs out as much as you possibly can without sacrificing customer service.
Thank you both, Randy and Orit. Could I ask you both for your top recommendation to grocery industry leaders on how to establish successful unified commerce?
Of course, the first recommendation will be to look at a platform that allows them to provide unified commerce by having a fully integrated end-to-end solution in the sense of the pricing, basket calculation, promotions, personalization, and so on. The other side of it will be to consider a platform that allows them to innovate quickly and with consistency, but with a lower cost. So being able to innovate on top of the platform. So for example, introducing those new journeys, improving and continuously improving both for the consumer and for their own margin, the way they handle click and collect, the way they handle automation and scanless and so on. So again, choose the right platform, make sure that it is providing you an open approach and an open architecture that allows you to easily integrate specialized task-specific solutions, whether you create them yourself or from third parties. And the last thing is to work to identify what experiences their consumers will still expect and want to enjoy after the pandemic is over. And some of the reduced contact preferences that we've all developed during the pandemic may go away, whilst others will stay with us. So what can they do to remain attractive to consumers, and how they can leverage their unified platform, their unified commerce platform, to achieve that?
Orit just mentioned the platform, right? Think about it in terms of if what you're doing doesn't improve your customer experience, is it really worth doing? And so look at the platform and synchronize across your business as much as possible. So there's one version of the customer that influences all of the processes, whether it's stores, supply chain, marketing, commerce, any of those processes, they have to be synchronized as much as possible. And secondly, and probably maybe even most importantly, you got to change the culture. You got to look at who you are as a culture. Are you defaulting to in-store? Are you defaulting to manual business processes? Because they're easier for you to pull off and execute, or it's how you've always done it. You have to look at the culture and change it to a digital culture. So that means leadership. That means, in fact, all levels of leadership has to be able to say, I'm not going to use Excel. I know that's sacrilege, but I'm gonna get into this digital world, and I'm going to embrace it, and I'm not going to accept doing anything other than that digital process. It's hard to do. It's probably the most difficult of all the things that we've talked about, but it really is how you change your business.
And so with that, I'd like to thank you both for joining me. And to our audience, remember, you cannot predict the future, but you can create it. So do so today by adding your comments and input below, and let us know what are the key topics you'd like us to address for unified commerce, omnichannel, and indeed SAP's partnership with GK.